And here we are, ready for practice. Practice is underway, so drivers can go out onto the track now and can get themselves practicing for the second round of the season. Needless to say, here we are at the Temple of Speed, the fastest track on the calendar, Monza. So we've got the newcomer Scott Ray first out on track. You might think he's Apache. It's not Apache. Team members off track, rivals on it. So it's going to be interesting to see both of those A+ rated drivers battling together. We'll see how that unfolds. Eddie Catflap on track already as well, trying to get as much practice in as he can because he needs it. But he's well aware of that and he's doing what he can to make it better. Rare to see Old Man Stu, not the first one on track, but a nice new livery we're rocking there from Old Man Stu. You can see the FTWRC logos on the side with the black and the green shades. Barry R making his return. Hasn't seen Barry since the previous league we did. Very good competitor, very, very well competitive in that league as well. Did very well, very good to see him back on the track today. And of course we have Mia Skinner making a return after our debut last week. What an introduction it was to the league from Mia Skinner, managing to just nip that very last podium position from Old Man Stu after pushing him into that tiny little mistake on the final chicane going into Casio Triangle, hoping to make a statement just as bold today at Monza. But now Apache there coming round, he's got a little bit wide, picked up a half a second penalty, not a problem in practice. That is Apache, not Scotty, just so you know. And then we have the RGTR League champion, last week's second place contender, Renster. And he's got a nice new livery rocking there. Look, very sleek. Still repping the P1R Project 1 Racing team. That's the team that he is a part of. Number 111. Then behind him on track, we've got Damo, again, one of the newcomers. Did very well last week in his first race. Be interested to see how he does again today. Part of the racing team headed up by Mia Skinner, so I'm sure he'll be wanting to do well and wanting to be sure exactly what he's got on track, and if not, do a bit better than what she can. Then coming down, after cutting the track limits of the penalty lane, we have last taco bender there. You can see he's got his nice taco livery, very nice. Got the Texaco logo there, reminds me of a kid going to the petrol station in a black Sierra, very nice. Flashing the lights as it goes. Jeffrey again making his return. He was part of the races. One of the highlights of the RGTR season was the Austria race, the second round. Jeffrey giving us the iconic moment going into the very first corner, trying to go down the inside of Grenstad at the very start of the race, and that led into a fantastic series of events on that night. Now just coming down, just slowing down now just before the chicane, giving himself a bit of space. Scooby looks like he's going to be giving himself a chance just to put a bit of a fast lap in, just to test those tyres and see how far he can push them. Mia Skinner first want to return to the pit, along with Renster. So we'll see what they're testing now. So the first preliminary time on the board there, Scotty, the newcomer, 1:49 on the dot. That was on the soft tyre, so it'll be interesting to see if anyone gets near that. His first time. Got Eddie Catflap now, just about to come over the line. What can Eddie Catflap do? Is he anywhere near? And not too bad, I'm less than 3 seconds away. Old Man Stu goes in with a timer 3/10 faster. So this really is a feeling out process for the drivers coming through here. The tyre wear combined with different track temperatures, the weather and everything, getting it right, because obviously the sprint race we're going into is a 10-lap race. So some drivers in this time like to run almost to, like a simulation sprint run to see how long the tyres can last. Other drivers choose to put the softs on and just absolutely hammer them till they're dead and see how far they can go. So the pace in practice isn't always indicative of how the race is going to go, but often is a good telltale. And what you usually find as well, when it comes to the last minute or two of practice, you find all of a sudden all the big hitters are all of a sudden on an outlap with soft tyres because they all want to make a statement just before it begins. And as you can see already, second, third and fourth all in a very short time of each other. Jeffrey putting in a very good time there on his first practice lap. 7 tenths faster than Old Man Stu. Not a bad start of the night for Jeffrey. And then as we look at Old Man Stu coming down the back straight now, thundering towards Parabolica. Apache just putting in the top time there for 1:49.4, but that doesn't count Scotty, who's in the pit at the moment. So Scotty is the faster man right now. Rocket Old Man Stu keeps his time, keeps himself where he is, but he is 4 tenths quicker than he was. Eddie Catflap still going good as well. So, and Barry putting himself a little bit faster than Jeffrey, but Old Man Stu. So it's only Apache and Scotty who are currently faster than Barry are. So it's another good return. But this already, even if it's just practice, even if it's only 4 tenths, this is already showing how much of a race this could be for Apache with Scotty. That is Scotty. Yes, the name above his car is correct. They do have very similar liveries. 192, 129. Mihai coming across there now, putting himself up in the third space. So it's all heating up at Monza. Right on board now with Mia Skinner as she approaches Ascari. Yet to put a time on the board, so it'll be interesting to see if this is the lap that she does. And we'll just ride on board there, coming through the Ascari chicane, making as much curvature as I can, keeping it flat out there, lots of curvature on the medium tyres. So now thundering down the straight, coming towards Parabolica, we'll be able to see what kind of time Mia Skinner is going to be able to put in here. It is on the medium tyres, so it might not be as competitive as Scotty or Apache or Mihai up at the front, but something tells me that this time's not going to be too bad regardless. We're a little bit wide there, but got the power down very well, making that corner as short as it can be. And what we're looking at on the medium tyre, 7th place, 2.6 seconds off Scotty Ray to start, 7 tenths behind Old Man Stu on the medium tyre. That is not a bad effort. Now we've got Old Man Stu on a soft tyre going fourth, a 150, almost on the nose, second faster than he had been. So it really is starting to look spicy up at the top of the field there, especially considering although it was mediums, but Mia Skinner there 8th last week battled their way onto third and showed she had the pace to stick with everyone else. So for her to put a time on her mediums and be down where she is, it shows that there's a lot of competition here. So coming around Parabolic, and now we've got Mihai, he's still on the soft tyres. His current time is currently 6 tenths off the lead, off the fastest time of Scott. And it stays the same, but who's coming up behind? Scooby there with a 156, so he's still 1.7 off last tackle bender. And now we ride on board with Renster. Checking out his nice new livery. Very nice. Very nice. So we'll follow with Renster as he comes down the back straight now. There's a slight kink curve to the left as he comes down towards the Ascari. Getting his wheels right up onto the curve there, making the absolute most of the track, getting the most speed he can out of this corner because he knows the run down to Parabolica is crucial. Brake a little too early, it's too slow on the exit. Brake a little too late, you run wide and you cause yourself a lot of problems. But it looks like Brent has got this one. And as we look around now, as he comes around, he's going to set the start the flying lap up perfectly. And I would imagine the lap that we're about to see from Brent is going to be a good one. He's on the medium tyres. He's kept them in very good condition. There's no wear on them whatsoever. So coming in here, we'll stay on board with Brent. So you can see the first chicane down very, very, very heavy braking zone. coming down from one of the fastest straights on the calendar, all of a sudden breaking down to near nothing. Coming around here, as we're coming around here, this is a flat out turn. It's possible to gain positions on this corner if you get the slipstream, but pulling out to the outside can make it very dangerous, but you can see he's making the track as short as he can there. You'll notice just as he gets to the end of the barrier on the right, slamming the brakes on, wants to straddle those orange curves just because bounce over them, it can unsettle the car, but if you get it right, you can glide through there and borderline straight liner. Car sliding just underneath him a little bit there, but he's managed to keep pace together, and he's going to be wanting to cut quite a lot of this curve, but again, and as he comes down now into the Ascari chicane, cut as much of that as he can, and he wants to get as flat out as early as he can, and there it is. Had a little bit of a wobble, but he's just got a bit wide. That is the trouble with going through Ascari like that. Once your foot's flat, you do not want to lift it, but sometimes it has to be done. So now flicking through anyway, halfway through practice now, Eddie Catlett, he's approaching the Ascari chicane. He's decided he didn't like the look of that apex and stayed well clear of it, but that's up to you, my friend. And there we go, barrier. That's the classic livery we were so used to seeing last year, and I'm sure it's one that a lot of the top guys will be happy to see again, knowing the level of competition that comes with it. And on this outlap, we'll stick with him for a bit as well to see what his lap is. But currently Apache out in front, 4/10 faster. Now over Old Man Stewart, he comes down now, he's about to round Parabolica. He seems to be going pretty quickly here. He's on a soft tyre, so it'll be interesting to see if he puts in a time that rivals. He's just, at one point he's got a little bit wide there, a little bit wide, but we'll see how this goes coming across the line. Slower, but it keeps him still the third fastest on the grid at the minute. Now, Old Man Stu sitting in the pits. Last tackle bender, he's on a lap, he's on the medium tyres. He's got a bit of wear out of them now, so it looks like he's going to have them worn in. And this hopefully should be a pretty good lap from him. He's 2.5 seconds a bit from Scooby, so we'll see if we can close that gap. But from 7th in the field onwards, curse of the commentator, sorry, my friend. But yeah, looking forward from 7th up until 2nd, there is only a couple of seconds in it. And there, so tackle bender just moves to one side to let Scotty through, who looks like he could be on a pretty good lap here. He's on the medium tyre, so I'm not sure if his time is going to compete with the one that he previously set, and if it does, wow, the fuel load is getting lighter as time goes. laps now. Mere skin on the soft tyre. I'm not sure what happened. We've just flicked there. There was just some residual bumper damage as she comes around Parabolica now. So I'm not sure what happened there. I'm sure if there was damage, it's not exactly going to be one of the fastest laps. Already hitting the 2-minute mark as she peels into the pits. Behind her, Eddie Catlap on the medium tyres, now approaching Parabolica. And that's a good time from Eddie Catlap there. Eddie Catlap now 151.5. By the looks of it, Scooby will smashing those soft tyres into the ground, see how long he can make them last, see if it's a viable option to use for the sprint race. I know last week, very unusually but very remarkably, we did see a couple of drivers last week making pit stops in the sprint race for soft tyres to come out and gain positions from that, notably of so Old Man Stu coming into the pits, putting the soft tyres on and making up 3 or 4 positions after we did that, which was something I did not expect to see in a sprint race. So it'll be interesting to see, should these soft tyres last, or if people are going to be coming in for a change or going on the medium. It is going to be very exciting when it comes to strategy today, because the weather is good, the track is hot, and those tyres will fall apart. So Eddie Catlap again, just coming into Parabolica, getting the power down nice and early there. Getting some steady lap times in. What else we got? Mia's currently 5th fastest on the grid. She's 9 tenths behind Jeffrey. Jeffrey's shown in the past he's a very confident competitor, very, very fast. As is Old Man Stu, who's just a 10th faster than him at the moment, but almost 1 second faster than him is newcomer Scotty Ray, and Scotty is 4 tenths away from Apache. So this really is setting up to be an unbelievable race that we've got on our hands. So you can see there from the view, Stu's new livery. You'll notice there down at the bottom, the Mind Charity for Mental Health and Macmillan Cancer Support logos. They are 2 charities that we're trying to raise money for throughout the season and throughout more than just the season, just to try to make money to support those who support others. So if you do have a look down in the description, there is a link to a Just Giving page. We're aiming to make £500 to split evenly between Mind and Macmillan, so £250 for each by the end of the season on the 30th of June. So any and all support you could give towards that cause would be greatly appreciated, not just by us, but by those who need it the most. So as we can see on the side of Old Man Stu's car there, mine and Macmillan would be a great appreciation. So thanks very much to the other drivers and to Stu for putting those other cars just to raise the awareness for a cause. Doesn't make you go any faster though, unfortunately. So now Apache having the fastest time taken away from him by Scotty, now coming around Parabolica, and he's pushing because he's not going to want to be anything other than the top man. That's just how he rolls. So what's going to happen here when he crosses the line? Oh, he's 2 tenths off. He's 2 tenths off, so it's only practice, but that is 20 minutes. So that means practice comes to an end. with Scotty, the newcomer, Scotty Ray on top with a 148.4, followed by Apache with a 148.6, and Old Man Stew with a 150 on the nose. So now that that's practice over, now that that's everything to do with, it's time for the first qualifying session of the evening. Well, a 5 minutes qualifier, setting up for a 10-lap race around Monza. Be interested to see how this goes, whether drivers will want to get out fast like Old Man Stew, or whether it's going to be who's initialized. Me. But it's all to play for. And of course it is Old Man Stew first on track, just as I expected. And it looks like everyone's getting out on track early. Everyone wants to get a time in, everyone wants to be caught up. So we've got quite a few cars bunched together coming around with Jeffrey, Apache right next to each other. And as well, just a reminder to those, I know last time vendors just coming out of the pit there. From this point on, there is no exiting, pause, exit, quit back in the pit lane. If you want to re-enter the pit lane, you finish your in lap, you drive into the pits, you drive back out. In a 5 minutes qualifying, unless you just condition your first lap, it's not very easy to do. You do have more time. So now coming around for the start of the first lap, we've got Scotty. He looks like he's going to be putting in the first flyer. He is followed closely by Old Man Stew, who will be picking up the slipstream down the straight. He'll hope that he doesn't close too much on Scotty because he doesn't want to cause any problems. But you'll see the drivers now on the fast laps will have the hazards flashing to let people know they're on a fast lap. Just like you can see from Old Man Stew there, it is the way that it works is if your hazards aren't flashed and someone gets in your way, you haven't really got a leg to stand on. Having your hazards on shows that you were on a fast lap, and it shows that people need to be getting out of the way. So now looking through, we can see Scotty at the front. He has his hazards on. We don't need to know that because we know he's pushing, because Old Man Stew's pushing and he's not getting any closer. It's just going to be a great battle throughout the race. And then behind them, Apache as they come up into the second chicane, closely followed by Jeffrey. Now Jeffrey's really going to be snuggling right up behind Apache, getting as much slipstream as he can, but try to avoid the dirty air because that can be a killer. Going around some of these turns, the speed that you do, especially like this, the Lesmos going through a Scari, if you get caught in dirty air, all of a sudden you could be spinning. So as we see now, just coming around the Lesmos, we've got Mia Skinner and Damo very close together on track now. Giving each other plenty of space. They don't want to be building on top of each other, as I'm sure they would in 7 Days to Die, but that's a different game altogether. But now you can see Damo coming around in the background, and we're going to start seeing some lap times coming in now. So Scotty's coming around Parabolica. What can he do for his opening lap of the season? It's a 148.7. A 148.7. Apache with a 1:49.2. So that means Scotty's nearly half a second faster than Apache. We've got Jeffrey third place, followed by Old Man Stew, Mia Skinner, which are all very competitive times. Eddie Catflap putting in a 1:51.5. That's a fantastic time. But it just shows the quality of the grid that Eddie Catflap has put in that time, and he's now dropped down to 7th. Because Barry's gone up to 5th with a 1:50. And Grenster goes up second. Grenster takes Apache's place on the front row of the grid, going 6/100ths of a second faster than Apache, 4/10 slower than Scotty. This is already heating up to be one fantastic race. Grenster really showing himself there, putting himself up on the front row. But now Apache's going to see that. Apache's going to know that's happening. He's going to be pushing with every single ounce of his being right now. As we see him go through the Les Mills, he's got Jeffrey hoping to pick up some of his slipstream behind. Jeffrey is only one space behind him on the grid as it stands at the moment. Last tackle winner there with a 1:54.3. Pippin Davo to the 10th spot by 2/10 of a second. Mihai yet to put a lap in, so it's all going well. Scooby with a very good time as well. When you're looking across the board from top to bottom, there's hardly anything in it at all. So now coming around to finish the second lap. This is everyone's last lap now, so this really does come down to where they can finish in the qualifying again. Oh, Scotty's got a little bit wide, so hopefully the 4/10 that he's already got on the grid is going to be enough to keep him there. But going a little bit wide, I don't think it'll give him a chance to improve. No, he's only 2/10. Imagine the speed he would have went through there if he didn't. That does have a penalty. Apache stays where he is. And it's wow. So it looks like we have a new pole sitter. It's not over yet. There are still drivers yet to finish laps. But looking back through the field, got Barry R in 6th. Barry R stays in 6th. Scooby coming around in the parabolic and out to set a final time. He's got Mihai behind him, looking to set his first time. And let's see, what can Scooby do first of all? What can Scooby do? Scooby goes faster, Mihai goes faster and goes up to 7th. But the story of the session is Apache's not on the front row. Scotty takes pole position, Grenster takes second. So the front row lockout is Scotty and Grenster, and it's the second row is Apache and Jeffrey, and the third row back is Old Man Stew and Barry R. Oh my word, what a session we have in front of us here. So we're just going to give it 1 or 2 minutes there, just if anyone needs to quickly go for a human pit stop, as it were. And then we'll be getting straight into the race. But what a session we've just had there. So we've got the newcomer, Scotty Ray, with the fastest lap of a 1:48.7, a sub 1:49 lap on his first showing at, it says it's round 1 there, it's round 2. But Grenster as well, putting in a wonderful time there. Just managed to pit Apache, followed, like I said, Jeffrey, Old Man Stew, and it's 5th place is not somewhere we used to see an Old Man Stew, but with the level of competition here, when you look, the gap between him and second place is less than a second. And you got Barry R, Mihai, Mia as well. Mia putting in a very good time and only making 8th. Unbelievable quality, unbelievable level of competition that we have on our hands tonight. Not only that, but the quality of drivers as well. So it's not just pace, it's racecraft, it's cleanliness, it's being fair. And I'm sure this night is going to be an absolutely fantastic event to behold. Now just waiting for Jeffrey. So as well, just to make people aware, the first race, the sprint race, 10 laps, is only light damage. That doesn't mean you should go crazy or anything. You still got to drive properly. Light damage. However, in the main race is going to be 30 laps. That is going to be heavy damage. So any damage picked up is going to be required to be repaired in the pit. So any first turn heroics, not warranted. It's not going to be won in the first race. These drivers know that. So hopefully there'll be no damage going into turn 1. But we are now ready to find out as the timer kicks down for the start of the Monza sprint race in the FTWRC. And here we are on the grid at Monza again, and the lights are up. As lights out and the race is on. We've seen a couple of people jump on the back of the grid there. Got a bit of a false start, but it's a good start up at the front now there. So we've got Scotty Ray holding his lead up there, followed by Grenster very tightly. But coming in now, we've got a large bunch of people. Apache back and forward. Apache's going down the inside, and Apache's gone down turn 1, and he's gone deep, but he's managed to keep it together, and he's come together, and he pushed Scott Ray wide a little bit there just by trying to take that position. That's not a very good coming together there, and I'm sure Scotty won't be too happy about being pushed wide like that. Like I said, teammates, friends, but on track, rivals. But as we go through, everyone else seems to be coming through there quite cleanly. We've got Mia Skinner, 6th place, up a couple. But now looking back at the front, it's Grenster who takes the lead. It's Grenster who's going through the chicane now with Apache close in behind. What a start of the race this has been. So Grenster coming around, followed by Apache. Old Man Stu just looking down the inside of Jeffrey there. Nothing to do, so he's going to tuck in behind, going through the Lesmos, closely followed by Barry and Mia Skinner right on the tail there as well. As we look further through, we can see last tackle Bender, followed by Scotty Ray. He knows that Scotty Ray's got pace behind him. Scotty on the medium tyre. I would imagine just about everyone's going to be on the medium tyre. I can't see anyone risking a soft. Eddie Carflap on the mediums. He's currently riding in 10th place now. Mihai starting again from the back. But as it stands, it's Grenster just coming through Ascari now, going down the straight, and we've got Apache directly behind in the slipstream. Oh, we're going to see a move into Parabolica here. As Grenster and Apache do just start to create just over a second gap between themselves and Jeffrey, and Apache's looking down the inside. And he's done better over, but no, Grenster's given the space, and now we've got that battle going around with Parabolica. Grenster hangs it around the outside, gets the traction down, keeping his place there, and Apache just tucks in behind. That fantastic racing from the pair. We've seen them battling before, we know it's always entertaining, and that is no different. But now we see them flying down the straight, getting a little bit of a side draft as Apache, but Grenster's managing to hold it together. Grenster just pulling ahead. I'm wondering if there's a little bit of a difference in the aero setup of the cars there, with Grenster just managing to stay ahead as Apache pulled out. Apache just cutting back now, and they go through the first chicane, first and second, as they were. But now looking further back, we've got Old Man Stu just starting to pull away a little bit from Jeffrey as he gets closer to Apache. But Apache again will ride up with Apache right on the tail of Grenster. So as you can see from this view, going into the first chicane, Apache's looking up the inside, but no, he's just pulled it out. He's just giving Grenster something to think about. Grenster knew that wasn't necessarily a move that was going to be there. He managed to keep himself, but he's got a little bit wide there. Gravel all over the track, but everything seems to be all good now. Apache's just looking in behind as he goes through the Lesmon. And in the background there, we can see Old Man Stu just slowly starting to get closer. And Apache now just looking down the inside after Grenster got a little bit wide, thinking if there was anything to do, but it looks like he's managed to just keep it there. Excellent start to the race. So now we've got Apache, you can see Old Man Stu behind. And behind him, we can see there's Mia Skinner. And Old Man Stu, he knows what it's like to have Mia Skinner in his mirror. So although he's trying to make space forward, he's going to be looking backward because he knows there is a threat in the mirror, and that is Mia Skinner. And now looking back, we can see behind there we've got Barrier just in front of Scott Ray, who's managed to work his way forward a little bit now. But Barrier's going to be having to put up some defence against Scotty, because Scotty is a quick driver. He's shown that by putting the fastest time in through qualifying, and what a lap it was to get that time. As we look further back, we've got Demo just in front of Last Tackle Bender, who's defending very well against Eddie Catflap, who is right behind. And then behind Eddie Catflap, we've got Scooby and Mihai, both jostling to try to get the place, but Eddie defending it well. But in front of him, Last Tackle Bender's defending just as well, and he's managing to keep his place. But now there is a slipstream train all the way up, and look at that. You can see Damo coming past, and then just behind, Tackle Bender, Eddie, Scooby, Mihai, all coming together, all coming into the first corner now. Scooby's gone right down the inside. Eddie Catflap being very safe, very wise, and keeping out of the way. No one would cause any problems there. Very wise from the old man. Now Mihai and Scooby side by side as they come round the Curva Grande. Scooby with the inside line, so he's going to have the advantage, but as they come around that corner, that outside line does turn into the inside line, coming into the chicane that's ahead. So it's going to be interesting to see if Mihai's battling for position, and he is, and he's got that place. Very, very well played from Mihai. Well played from Scooby to give him space to do that, knowing that move was there. And now Last Tackle Bender just needs to hold his own here. He doesn't need to do anything. He knows he's got Mihai behind. He's a fast driver. And Mihai just looking up the inside. And Mihai getting unbelievable traction out of Lesmos there. Getting in front of Last Tackle Bender, who did have a little touch on the bridge, but he's held it together very, very well. And now he still has Scooby and Eddie in his slipstream. But he now has the slipstream of Mihai in front of him to follow all the way down the straight, up the bank to Ascari. Now, skipping forward, we still have the battle going on, but Apache has dropped back. He's about a second behind Grenster now, so Grenster really starting to look comfortable in this race. End of the third lap coming up as he comes into Parabolica. And Apache has a half a second penalty as well. Didn't see that one getting picked up, so we've got Apache with a half a second penalty. So Old Man Stu's going to be seeing that from behind. He's close enough to know that that's the case, but close enough to him to know that's the case. Again, look who's behind you. Mia Skinner, yet again, on the straight. Closing the gap now. There's half a second between the two, and that gap is only going to get smaller because of the way that this slipstream is. Now, Old Man Stu's got eyes forward, knowing Apache's going to be serving that penalty, knowing there's a possible position up for grabs ahead of him, but he also knows that if he makes one mistake in trying to get it, Mia Skinner's going to be right behind to sweep up that mess, and she will do it gladly. But now, looking behind there as well, we see behind Mia, Scotty Ray has managed to get himself up in the fourth place already, so he's now bearing down on Mia Skinner. So we really do have a battle on our hands here. We're not even halfway through this race yet, and it's already heating up. So there's the best sector there for Mia Skinner, 6/10 faster than it was in the previous lap. As we see them coming through now, so there's Barry, Jeffrey just on the tail as well, Barry. So it's all to play for right up here in the FTWRC. What a night we have. Oh, Grenster's picked up a 1 second penalty. So Grenster has a penalty to play. Apache has it, so that's 1 second, half a second, and just behind there's Old Man Stu with no penalties to take. So let's jump on board with Old Man Stu and see exactly what that looks like from his point of view when he sees the lead driver stop for a second, the guy in second stop for half a second, and look at the closing space. Old Man Stu now right over it. As he comes towards, he's going to be on top of them coming into Parabolic. Apache goes defensive on the inside, when him, Apache and Grenster are all on top of each other right now, coming through Parabolica. And it's bumper to bumper to bumper. What a start this is, as we see there, going across the line to start the fifth lap. Grenster, Apache, Old Man Stu, all so close together like I've seen them so many times before. But then just behind there, we've got two newcomers. We've got Mia Skinner and we've got Scotty Ray, and neither of them are just going to allow them to disappear into the distance. So let's see how much, because Apache's going to be wanting to go for the lead. He's going to be wanting to do it, but he's not going to be wanting to slow himself down too much, because Mia Skinner is already now on the tail of Old Man Stu. As they come through towards the Curva Grande, Mia Skinner is almost in striking distance of Old Man Stu, and behind her, Scotty Ray is in striking distance. So these top five now really have to think about prioritising attack, defence, losing time and gaining time, because one little mistake, 4 cars could be ahead of you. That's not something I need to preach to Grenster though. Calm, collected and cool as always as he goes through there, coming up to the Lesmos. But now you can see Scotty Ray's gone down the inside, and Scotty Ray's gone down the inside of Mia Skinner. Mia Skinner not putting up too much resistance, because she knows it wasn't a battle worth losing if there was a fight at hand. But Scotty Ray now getting up in the fourth place. Mia Skinner's want to just sit in, use that opportunity to follow him through. But now it really spices up, because Old Man Stu now has Scotty in his mirrors, but looking ahead, he's got Apache just ahead of him, and just ahead of Apache's Grenster. They are both within striking distance of Old Man Stew. Old Man Stew could almost taste pole position right now. But Scotty Ray's not getting any closer at the minute, but now they're on the straight. Actually, Old Man Stew's starting to pull away just a little bit. He is in the slipstream with Apache and Grenster ahead of him. As they come in now, round Parabolica. Great traction out the corner from Old Man Stew. They're really getting the power down, not letting Apache get any further away from him. He's still less than half a second. And as they come down the straight here, that's only going to get shorter. As you can see, look at that. How close. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And then in the distance, we've got all these drivers so close together up at the front here. Going into the first chicane again, we've got Grenster taking it up the line. Apache just following them through. Old Man Stew just waiting for any opportunity he has to take any position he can, because this is unbelievable. Now Scotty Ray's on the scene, so now Scotty Ray's only half a second behind Old Man Stew. Apache right on the tail of Grenster coming through the chicane there as they straddle the sausage curb, bouncing over, keeping all the pressure on the car there. What a wonderful, wonderful start of the night this has been. 5 laps of unbelievable racing. And after Scotty just going wide, after Apache go a little bit deep, and then Scotty having to go a little bit wide, managed to come together. Oh, just a little bit of a wobble from Scotty in the background there. But then behind there we see Mia Skinner. Barry R's closing on Mia Skinner, and Jeffrey's right behind Barry R. So what even looking back, a few collisions to that, and you've got Mia Skinner, Barry R, and Jeffrey, which on any night that could be the battle for the lead. Those could be 3 contenders for the championship. But then we'll look forward and we'll see Scotty making a move on Old Man Stew. Now he's going around the outside. And he's got past him now in the Parabolica. He's defensively taking the inside line. But we can see how close Old Man Stew is then. Old Man Stew's getting the power down well. You can see he's the bumper right up behind Scotty, and he's really going to be pushing it here. He's going to have the time coming out of this slipstream as best he can so that he doesn't go too early, but he has pulled out. Be interesting to see. This is the track where aero makes a difference. Old Man Stew getting a good run through there, trying to give himself space to catch up on Scotty. As Scotty pulls away now, looking forward, you see Apache trying to close it on Grenster. There's a second gap between them as they go through La Curva Grande. Is making a little bit of a gap, but he knows Scotty now behind him had the faster qualifying time. Scotty has the pace, so now it's a rare thing that you hear me say, but Apache in second place is going to have eyes in the back of his head, because Scotty is slowly closing that gap, and you can see he's just back and just starting to wobble. He's really pushing it because he wants to get back to where he started. But Grenster the whole time needs to just keep calm and collected, because he knows if he doesn't make a mistake, it's going to be very difficult for anyone to take anything from him. But that's much easier said than done when you've got a grid like this behind you, going around a track like Monza. Now Apache right up on the tail of Grenster, now 2 tenths in it. Apache getting very close to Grenster coming through Parabolica now. Grenster getting a very good run. Oh, we can see in the background there, we'll just look to see Scotty going wide. Apache setting the fastest lap of the race so far, but it was Scotty that went a little bit wide. And I'm wondering now if Old Man Stew thinks that maybe he could have a go. We can see Mia did start on the soft tyre. They are starting to wear out now, so Mia's cutting her losses. She's going to come in now, put some fresh softs on, try to regain a few of the positions that she may have lost had she continued. Eddie Catlett will say thank you very much for that position, Mia. But now that means down in 8th and 9th place, we have a battle on our hands, because now we have Mia Skinner 1 second behind the bumper of Eddie Carflap. Eddie Carflap still got life in the medium. Mia Skinner's on fresh, soft. Good luck, Eddie. Scooby doing well, looking after his tyre as well. He's coming around La Curva Grande himself there. Respectable pit times. He's got his 53, 54, great times there. And then at the back now we'll have a battle for unfolding. Last tackle Bender and Demo, half a second apart now, going into the chicane, and Demo gets on the brakes, and Last tackle Bender's right behind. He takes an easy line through there, making sure there's no mistakes. Very well played. Demo's getting a little bit of a wobble there, but as we see it, Demo keeps the position. It's still less than a second, and as Last tackle Bender's coming round the first Les Rose, he always sees Demo going a little bit wide, but Demo holds it together very well indeed. So now that's given Last tackle Bender hope, a bit of chance. Just think if he can go wide once or twice more, that could give him the opportunity to catch up. And it's an excellent start of the race for both of these guys as well. You can see there on the side, Damo's fastest lap time so far, 1:51.7, a very good time. And he's consistently hitting them as well, 1:51.7, 1:51.9. Excellent consistency by Demo. And that consistency is just starting to spread that gap a little bit in front of Last tackle Bender. But as of late, we've seen Last tackle Bender has upped his game a little bit now. So Last tackle Bender, we will have not seen the last of him yet. But now, speaking of upping the game, Eddie Carflap is side by side with Mia Skinner now going down the straight to start the penultimate lap. Eddie Carflap just getting up in the front. As Mia comes across now, she'll start to pick up a bit of a side track. She is looking down the inside. I wonder. And Eddie Carflap's late on the brakes. That brave defended by Eddie Carflap. Very well done by Mia Skinner as well, giving that space to do so. And now, as that comes round, so Mia Skinner right behind Eddie Carflap. And what a battle this is turning out to be as well. Oh, just skipping forward, just as we see Old Man Stu make a move on Grenster, down the inside of the first Lesmos, coming out of the second Lesmos now in third place. Now Grenster has a half a second penalty, but there is pushing up behind. But as we look further forward, we have Apache has a 1 second penalty in the lead of the race, and Scotty is 4/10 behind him. So now coming down the back straight in towards Parabolica, we are going to see Scotty take the lead of the race, of the sprint race at Monza, after starting on pole, pushed out wide, having a little bit of a wobble, but now he's in prime position to take back control of this race. Oh, the less said the better, Apache. But he's took that penalty, he served it down, and now Scotty goes through Parabolica in first place, creating a bit more of a gap now. It's going to be opening up to 8/10. Apache is going to be hungry to get that position back now, though, as we enter the beginning of the last lap of the sprint race. Old Man Stu a second ahead of Grenster now, just about, but he knows that Grenster's going to be pushing as well. Grenster served his penalty, so he's not going to be slowed down any more than he needs to be. As we flick back further through the grid now, Eddie Carflap and Mia Skinner still having that battle. It started at the start of the lap. It's still going on at the end of this lap now, and it's Eddie Carflap in front, Mia Skinner in the slipstream. And which way is it going to go? Is Eddie going to defend early? Eddie has gone the inside. Mia's gone around the outside. She's getting a side draft there, squeezing up as close as she can to make sure that she can get the gap here as she comes across now. So it is Eddie Carflap with the inside line, and he's broke. That's very, very brave by Mia. They're breaking late. Eddie just living at this still of the day. He's got 9 lives, but he wants to keep all of them intact because he's going to need them for the main race as he follows Mia Skinner through. But we are going to have to jump back to the front because Scotty is less than a second ahead of Apache now. We're going to follow on board for Apache. As he looks forward, he sees Scotty go wide. He's pushing a little bit wide there. So now, coming down the back straight, it's the final lap, and he's trying to get them tyres clean again because Apache's right behind him, and Scotty knows he is a sitting duck when it comes down to this straight here. Apache needs to not make a single mistake going through a scarry chicane here, and he's doing it well, and he's took a lot of curb, but he's done that well, and he's kept it together. And as they come down the straight, and now it's an absolute drag race down. Grenster, 4 seconds of trip. It's not going to be any due to him. Old Man Stu is right behind Grenster, but the battle up here is 3/10 between Scotty and Apache. And this could be an unbelievable end of the race. As the brake late, they go into Parabolica, and Apache's right on the tail of Scotty. And Scotty now looking back under the tail of Scotty. And he's going to do it. And Scotty is the winner of the sprint race round Monza in the FTWRC League round 2. But then the battle commences because we've got Grenster just followed by Old Man Stu. What an unbelievable end Barrios not far behind. Then there's Jeffrey closing around, and then Mihai round Parabolica as well. So already the top 5 finish. Mia Skinner managed to get that position change on Eddie Cartflap and managed to make it stick. So as we see, Mia Skinner coming over the line in 8th place. That's to claim the last point available in the sprint race. Eddie Cartflap there, that very unlucky, did very, very well to battle for as long as he did. We'll see Scooby coming through there, 10th place. Damo, as he comes over, managed to build a gap of 9 seconds above last tackle bender. But as tackle bender comes around now, it's a good showing from everyone. And what a beginning to the night that has been. What a race and what a storyline we have here. Winner and pole sitter of the sprint race, Scotty Ray. Not only did he get pole position, he lost 6 or 7 positions on the opening chicane, manages to pull it back, and still manages to win the round. That is phenomenal. So now, excellent race there. So what we're going to do, it is 2 minutes past 8. So qualifying for the main race will start at 10 past. So that's 8 minutes. 8 minutes. If anyone's got a problem with that, would they like to speak now? Right, we'll say with it. Yeah, 10 past. 10 past. We will start qualifying. So excellent start to the night. As I've said, if you are enjoying what you're seeing and you do want to support the cause, if you have a look at the description below, there is a GoFundMe. There's a donation link there. If you go on there, we are trying to raise £500 to split evenly between mine, Charity for Mental Health, and Macmillan Cancer Support, because everyone needs that help and everyone who helps needs help. So we are trying to support those who support. So even if it's just a few pennies, anything you've got left over, whatever, anything you can give, it would be greatly appreciated. The link is in the description. So if you have a look there, that would be a fantastic help. But on that note, I will be back in a couple of minutes. So just 1 minute to go. And then we will be beginning. So yeah, just an update. As you'll see on the settings on the left there, heavy damage is now in play. 1 tyre change is required, so you can use any of the tyres available, but you must use 2 different types. So you've got to stop and change tyres once. And once everyone's checked in and once everyone's ready to go, we will start qualifying for the feature race of the evening, 30 laps of Monza. So here we go, the start of qualifying. 10 minutes qualified, round the Temple of Speed. Will we see Scotty on pole position again? Will we see Apache regain it? Will we see Grenster come back and take it for himself? There are a lot more drivers in the field who are also capable of doing it, so I'm very excited for the way that this is going to turn out. Oh, is Old Man Stu the first one on track? Oh, he's not. Mia Skinner comes out of the pit lane first, and Old Man Stu is second. So yes, and again, just a reminder to all the drivers, once you're on track, there is no pause, quit, exit. If you want to go back to the pit lane, you drive round to the pit lane on in lap, enter the pits, change your tyres. There's no going back to the lobby. Now, if you do, you start last. As you see, the drivers coming through the chicane there. A track. Another point out, just a little point out, part of the rules for people know, there is no talking in-game chat, so any in-game chat isn't allowed. It's for afterwards in Discord. Incident reports that have been made reports of through the incident report ticket system. Anything else? Fair game, but no in-game chat. Now we're going to ride on board with Mia Skinner, as Mia's going to be the first one across the line and start a flying lap. Let's see. Oh, got a little bit wide through Parabolica there. That could... No, I was going to say could give Stu a few problems, but he's left more than enough space there. We've all been here before. Really stretching as much of that top gear as you can. Taking all of that corner as you come around here. So the track itself opened 1922, so it's one of the oldest. In fact, if I may say so, correct me if I'm wrong, one of the very first purpose-built race courses in the world, alongside, well, I was going to say alongside Silverstone, that was an adapted airfield. So this was actually the first purpose-built track. As you just see here, it's going to coming up to the second chicane, taking a lot of curve, just enough to be able to get the power down without the wheel spin. That's a very clean getaway. As we look back under the wing, we can see Old Man Stu, and as he turns, we can see Apache right behind him. I think it is. So all three of these drivers very close together as they come down towards the Scary chicane. All be getting a slipstream from each other, so Mia's going to be the one losing out here in terms of the slipstream. But can she put a time together that's going to make that irrelevant? Now we see Scotty in the background, just coming down the straight as well. So let's see what kind of times are going to be put in on this first lap, on the banker lap. There is another 7 minutes left, so there's another few laps to go on fresh softs yet. So the times will improve as the tank's empty, but this is going to be a benchmark here with Mia Skinner coming around Parabolica. Taking a very tight line as comes across now. A 150, very good time. Old Man Stu goes faster, Apache goes faster, but Scotty goes faster again, and Scotty by less than 2/100ths of a second is in pole position as it stands. Jeffrey coming in, changing his tyres, does have a penalty, so that would slow him down on the laps, so it's wise to come in and change that. Barry now going right up there, 4th place, pipping the spot from Mia Skinner. Damo with a 150.9, it's a very good time to do as well. Only 2/10ths behind Mia Skinner, which is a very, very good time to put in. Scooby, 151.4, which is half a second faster than Eddie Catflash managed to put together at the moment. And now look at how right on board we can see. Last tackle bend, a little bit of a touch there, but a very good run through Ascari. Now he's going flat out down, so we'll see how he does going through Parabolic. As we can see, Grenster pitting there again. So he hasn't put in his first lap again, Grenster, so we need to hope that the second one does go well for him, because last time didn't turn out too well, but going in here, and that's a good entry, He's just got a little bit wide, but last tackle bender now pulling it back. He's got the traction down very well, making the track very short. And what time are we looking at here? From tackle bender, he stays in 9th place. Looking back, Jeffrey picked up a second penalty. I don't know if that was the same one that he hasn't paid the price for. It will have been. Grenster on his outlap as well. So, but as we go through the front now, we've got Apache. He's going to be the next one to cross the line as he comes around Parabolica on his second flying lap. Or will he be coming into the pits for fresh soft tyres? He is indeed coming in the pits for fresh soft. I would imagine Old Man Stu's doing the same. But Scotty Ray goes and sets an even faster time again. God, there is no stopping this man. So now, as you see Barry about to cross the line to put in a time, what can he do? He's gone up to 3rd place. He's pushed Old Man Stu down a spot, so that's an excellent start for Barry as well. 3/10ths faster than Old Man Stu, 1 second off the lead of Scotty. Hazards are flashing, so he's still going for a fast lap, but Barry's still pushing here, still on a lap. So Apache on his outlap, I'm sure he'll be aware of Barry behind him if he's going to be catching him, and it might be worth giving him the space just to let him pass, but at the minute that space isn't there to give. But moving further forward, but what a show it is from Scotty so far. Half a 10th faster than Apache. Apache still coming out now. Apache on fresh soft, so he is going to be doing another lap to see if he can get near the pace here. Now what a turn of events this would be. So now Scotty comes down Parabolica. Is he going to be coming in for a fresh set of boots? Certainly is. But now Apache, he's on his outlap, so Apache's setting up now but he hopes to be an absolute record breaker of a lap. And he can't put his best lap in there, but 1:51, another respectable time. When you look at how close the field is from top to bottom, it is unbelievable. So we've got someone just coming out of the pits ahead there, but we've got Apache now on a flying lap, and Apache just started his flying lap, coming into the first chicane, looking to see if he can dethrone Scotty from the pole position. He's got Mia Skinner just in front of him. And it's a fastest sector from Apache. Apache sets the fastest first sector, so he is on fire. He is on form. Yeah, he's looking to make sure that everyone remembers who he is. Now Grenster goes up to third place. That's a lap and a half from Grenster there. And there is only a 10th from first to third. Grenster only a 10th slower than Scotty. Half a 10th slower than Apache. But Apache now getting the slipstream of Mia all the way down the straight. And he's going to be flying into this chicane. Into Shikari, everyone. Oh, and there's a battle. Oh, what's a bit naughty, that. As he comes through, he's picked up a penalty for that as well. Unfortunately, he's not going to have a chance to do another lap. Well, I don't know he will actually for 45 seconds. Tell a lie, but there will be a penalty to be served on it. So it looks like this could be. We've got Grenster now coming around, so he's on his second flying lap. So his first one's put him in third place. As he runs the second of the two Lesnos. Old Man Stu sets his new record of 150. That keeps him in fifth place. Now Grenster just sets the best second sector of all. So now Grenster's lighting up the timing board. As Grenster now comes flying down the back straight. That's the end of the 10 minutes of qualifying. So this is last chance saloon for Grenster. As he comes hurtling down towards Parabolica, let's see what he can do. Has he got the time? He's got the fastest sector. He's coming round. He's got that. He's nailed that. He's looking very tight. He's going to be pushing a little bit wide. He's got the power down. What time are we looking at here? And Grenster goes on pole position. Grenster puts it on himself on provisional pole position by more than a quarter of a second. Oh my word. And we do have Scotty who's still on the lap. We've just come around Lesmos now. And oh my word, Grenster's pulled one out of the bag. But now Scotty knows that that's happened. He's coming flying down towards the Ascari chicane now. What kind of time can he put on the board? And he set the fastest sector time in the second as well, so he's up on time. So as it stands, this could be an absolute shootout. He's just nailed that. He's kept this flat out all the way through there, over the chicane. Now we see Scott, he's coming flying down. And this could be absolutely unbelievable. This is close. Oh, he's having to back out the throttle just a little bit there, and he's gone a little bit wide. And as he comes across, just losing it a little bit on the line there, he is a dash to the line. Now what's going to happen? He's gone back on pole! He's gone back on pole position! Grenster's been pipped at the post! Scotty, despite going a little bit wide through Parabolica, losing the back end slightly and having to come out of the throttle, has managed to put it a 10th and a half ahead of Grenster, and he takes pole position. Grenster second, Apache coming round now. He could still put together a good time, but he had that penalty. So now looking actually know his time. Yeah, and I didn't know the time. That penalty kind of ruined it, unfortunately. Second row. But Grenster coming out, pulling one out of the bag there. But Scotty really turning it up when he needed to at the end there. What a fantastic qualifying session that has been, and what a competitive grid we have in front of us now. Holy smokes. But look, that was a fantastic lap that Grenster put in there, just out of the bag. 3/10 faster than what Apache's lap was. So Apache will be on the second row with Barry. So that does mean Apache's going to be getting the slipstream of Scotty in front of him. So it is going to be a race into that first corner, which again, hopefully, heavy damage. So if there's any damage going into that first corner, it is going to cause problems. So that's one thing I'd bear in mind. Heavy damage, no use of in-game chat. And now that's been said, it's time to start the feature race of the night. 30 laps round Monza for round 2 of the FTWRC, and I can't wait. Lights out, and the race is on. It's a good start from Scotty. Apache going right across there to get into the slipstream with Grenster across the other side. So now it's Scotty, Grenster, Apache all the way down. So as we're coming into turn 1 here, everyone very clean. There's been an absolute, someone's just completely missed the brake. It's out of the background, gone straight through. Not sure what it was that happened there, but it looks like Scooby's off the track. Grenster in second place. And Scotty and Grenster up and away. Barry in third, Mihai in fourth. As we come round now, Jeffrey and Mia both battling now for 5th position. Looking back, we've got Damo, followed closely by Last Tackle Bender, but then behind we've got Apache. There isn't any damage to Apache's car, so I'm not quite exactly what happened there, but he's battling with Tackle Bender. He's gone through there. Not going to give that one up, but looking back. So Old Man Stu does have bumper damage. He does have rear damage to his bumper. And Scooby does have bumper damage to the front. So I'm wondering maybe if Scooby's just missed the braking zone and just went into the back of Stu a little bit. Not sure, I didn't catch it. It will have to be looked at later. But as it stands, Scotty out in the lead, 7/10 ahead of Grenster, who then has nearly 3-second gap between himself and Mihai. So as they come into Parabolic, we've got Scotty just coming around there, and he's just making it nice. He's got Grenster behind him on the soft tyres. So Grenster's going to be having a much better advantage on the grip-wise in front opposed to Scotty. So Scotty's going to do what he can to keep him behind, because the longer he can keep him behind, the more those tyres are going to get him affected. But they already have a 3-second gap. So then we've got Mihai, followed by Barry, Mia, and Apache. As they come into the chicane again there, everyone keeping it nice and clean. So on board with Apache now, he's right in the slipstream of Mia Skinner, so he's going to be hoping to want to make moves going up the next straight. You can see this battling going on ahead. Mia weaving back left to right, looking which side to get past Barry, but it's not as easy as it looks, and she's going to the inside. Barry holding the outside line, Mia just dropping in behind Barry there, not going for anything too risky, not at this start of the race. And now Apache immediately looking to get on the attack, immediately looking to get these positions back. As he goes down the inside of the first Lesmos, he's bringing it round. He's very well done. The space has been given, and now he's tucked in behind Barry as they come through the second of the Lesmos. And now Apache really bearing down on Barry now as well. Barry just making it obvious as to which way he's going to go. Not to get in the way, because Apache's coming flying through now, and next up is Mihai. How long will it take? Because Mihai, both on the soft tyre, both Apache and Mihai. Scotty out in the front is on the medium tyre, but he is now being closed up by Grenster. Grenster less than 2/10 behind as they come to the last corner, as they come around Parabolica. And this is going to be a battle down the straight. But looking back now as well, we've got Apache. Dropped a little bit back, but he's got Mihai up ahead of him, just 1 second ahead. But Barry is only 6/10 behind. Apache setting the fastest lap already, 1:49.3 in that comeback lap. But back up to the front, we've got Grenster right on the tail of Scotty. So Scotty now knowing that the tyre advantage is behind him. He knows that Grenster has the advantage on those softer tyres, and he is going to be wanting to make use of that when he can, as to not waste them. But Scotty, quite clearly for his first ever race in the FTWRC, has showed he is more than capable of holding his own as they come through the second of the two lesmos, and now they're coming down the straight and go under the bridge to Ascari. And I can see these two being stuck together for quite some time. Now Apache's within a second of Mihai now. 7/10 is the gap, and that's getting shorter and shorter as the time goes down because he's in the slipstream. He's getting pulled along now. So as they come to Ascari, Apache's setting the fastest sector time as they come through. Getting the power down early, and now he's 6/10 behind Mihai in the slipstream. So Grenster just slowly closing on Scotty down the straight. Scott having a lot of pace on the straights there, so it'd be interesting to know if, what aero changes he made, because it looks like he must be running very little downforce. He is getting a little bit of wheel spin coming out of the corners, but he is flying down the straights. But it's nothing Grenster's not seen before, and he's still within 3/4 of a second. And he sets his best first sector time, only by 3,000ths, but he still does. And there we go, so some barriers in the road there being bashed out of the way. I'm not sure what got them there, but as we see, as we go further back through the grid here, we've got Jeffrey right behind Mia Skinner as they come through the lesmos now. We can see just ahead of them, we've got Barry. So Mia's now trying to hunt down Barry off. Orwell trying to keep Jeffrey away from her tail. 1 second behind Barry, but half a second ahead. And then we've got Damo just a bit further back with Eddie Kaplan a second adrift. There, looking back, we're 10 seconds behind there. We've got our last tackle Bender who started the race on the mediums. So he's on the medium tyre. 10 seconds adrift of Eddie, but he's got a 16-second gap. Old Man Stu did start on the hard tyre, did pick up that damage, and has now come out on the mediums. So he's looking a little bit more aggressive than what he wanted to start with. And then looking back now, Scooby looks like he's picked up damage as well. I'm not sure again how that happened, but it does look like he's got front wheel and front bumper damage. So that will be why he's starting to drop off at the back a little bit now. But Eddie Catlap comes in, taking those soft tyres off. And onto the hards he goes. So Eddie looking long. Which is unusual because usually he looks wide. But now he's going to have Old Man Stu about 10 seconds behind him as just after he comes out of the pit. So we know Old Man Stu is capable of closing these gaps. He's on the medium tyre. Eddie on the hard, it's going to be difficult to keep away, but Old Man Stu's going to be winding in that gap. He's going to be wheeling them in. But now going forward, we've got Jeffrey just 7/10 behind Mia Skinner now. So he's really pushing, trying to get closer and closer. Mia's still 1.7 away from Barry R. So let's have a look at the front now. We've got Grenster 1.5 seconds behind Scotty. Them soft tyres are starting to just fall apart now. Scotty on the stuff, started on the medium tyres, so his tyres are still looking pretty good. He's managed to get nearly 2-second gap out in the lead. Apache now clearing me high, second ahead. So he's got a little bit of a breathing space now, and he's going to be wanting to get his head down and get catching. But how long can these soft tyres last? Now the gap between Old Man Stew and Eddie Catlap down to 6 seconds already. So Old Man Stew really putting the power down here, really trying to get himself back into the field. Yeah, he's really worked on those tyres. He hasn't just started screeching anything. Eddie Catlap doing well to keep the gap where it is. He is slowly closing the gap on last tackle Bender ahead of him. That is now down to 6.7 seconds, so he's just creeping in. But now we've got a battle here looking forward. But Barrios just picked up a half a second penalty, but just in front of him, Jeffrey, he is right on the tail of, and Jeffrey is right on the tail of Mia Skinner within a second now. So going through the Lesmos, has gone through the second Lesmos, cutting a lot of that corner, very nicely done, but now he's in the slipstream of Mia Skinner. So Mia's going to need to get a good run out of every single corner from now on, otherwise he's going to be right on her tail when it comes to Parabolica. But saying that, you could say the same about Barry. Barrier is 2 tenths, and yes, he does have a half a second penalty, but down this straight, it's not going to make too much difference. Yes, he's going to lose that gap, but he is going to have that chance to build it all back up, going through Parabolica and down the straight. But now, Mia Skinner's not had a very good run through there, and Jeffrey is right on the tail of Mia Skinner. And he comes to the inside, Mia stays wide, and as they come side by side down the straight towards Parabolica, Jeffrey takes the position. It is Jeffrey at the Parabolica first, and he's just cut that. He's got a little bit wide. Can Mia Skinner cut back across here? And it looks like Mia might be trying to cut the underside. It's the old switcheroo, and here she goes down the inside. Can Mia pull it up? They are side by side going onto the straight. It really is now just a battle of horsepower, and we've got the same car, so the horsepower is the same, so it's relevant. But it looks like the aero might slightly be on the side of Jeffrey, but unbelievably tight racing. Who's going to break first? And they've gone in, and they're going in side by side. He's had to back out, and Mia Skinner takes that corner unbelievably well. But Barrios licking his lips, because that gives him the chance now to get back in touch with where he was without that penalty causing too much problem. Unbelievable. What a start of the night this is. So as we look further forward, Apache's now 3 seconds off Grenster. Grenster does have a half a second penalty though, as we see in the distance. Scotty's starting to make a gap, starting to spread the field a little bit and get himself a bit of a distance ahead. But we do still have Barry very close up on the tail of Jeffrey now, but with Damo closing in behind as well. Damo's only 1 second behind Barry, so he's looking. So Barry's now going to have to be looking backwards and forwards, because if he makes a mistake, Damo's he's not going to think twice. He's going to sweep that mistake up, no problem, and into position he goes. So as coming down the street, you see Damo's come flying through the Ascari chicane there, keeping it just over a second. So that's Mia Skinner now coming into the pits, taking the soft tyres off. Which gives Barry R and Jeffrey the position as they go through. Mihai 4th place now. And there's Mia Skinner coming out of the pits. Mia coming out on the medium tyre. So it looks like it'd be another stop for Mia. it would be very difficult to make even the hards last as long as this anyway, but it looks like that's the plan. But the question is we going to try to stretch out the mediums long enough to go into another set of soft, or is she going to have to do 2 stints on the mediums? We will find out. But now looking, Damo still less than 2 seconds behind Barry, and Barry doing very well to stay with Jeffrey. So we've got Apache in third place, just now coming around Ascari chicane. His tyres are really starting to feel it now, and he's done well to keep the power down the way he has through there. But he's picked up half a second penalty, unfortunately. But Scotty out in front, nearly 5 seconds there, sitting pretty, doesn't have to pit anytime soon. He is on a medium tyre. So I would imagine we'll see Grenster come in here, and I would imagine Apache will be following him in as well with his half a second penalty. So this is going to be a battle coming out of the pits to see what tyres are going to be on. Is Grenster going to go for hards and ride the rest of the race out? Are they going to go mediums? It's all to play for, but I can't wait to see these come out of the end of the pit lane here, because it is going to be close. It is going to be tight. And then Apache's out, Grenster's out. Oh, he's come right out in traffic. Barry's just in front of Grenster. Apache behind, and then Mia Skinner just coming down the straight. She's got about 10 seconds to go before she gets to Apache yet. But now Barry is not only now going to be focusing on catching Jeffrey, he's going to be thinking about the fact he's got Apache and Grenster directly behind him. They're not only going to be wanting to battle each other, they're going to want to get as many positions as they can. So they're going to be really pushing it now. So we've got Grenster's come out on the medium tyres, and Apache's come out on the hards. So that's actually the opposite of what I thought I might have seen here. When Apache's come out on the hard tyres, looking to go long, Grenster on the mediums. But Grenster, we know he can extend tyre life ridiculously. So there is a good chance that Grenster might still just be on a one-stop and make these mediums last. Or he might be going aggressive and he might be pushing these tyres all the way till the next set. But Grenster as well with a half a second penalty. So there's a few half-second penalties. But this is all playing into the hands of Jeffrey, because Jeffrey up there knows all 3 drivers behind him have half-second penalties. Barry, Grenster, Apache. So Jeffrey just needs to keep his head down, make sure he's hitting the apexes like he does, and then he shouldn't be caught, not anytime soon anyway, because he's on the medium tyres. We've got Barry on the mediums as well. He's about to serve his penalty. Grenster on the medium right behind, he served his penalty. And Apache on the hards has now served his penalty. But out in front, and the holder of the fastest lap so far, it is Scotty Ray. He is coming around the first chicane now on the start of his 10th lap. Excellent debut so far from Scotty, sweeping up all the points so far. Oh, we can see a battle in the background there. We can see Grenster's gone through. So it's Grenster now in front of Barry. But Barry's sticking right to the tail of Grenster as we'll follow them through La Curva Grande here. You can see only 3/10 in it. Fresh mediums has Grenster. As they go into the chicane, you can see Barry just behind. His mediums are starting to wear now. But then Apache on the hard tyres. Oh, he's just missed the apex there and come across, and he might get a penalty for that, but I'm not too sure. He might have just managed to keep it together, but it just looked like he just lost the balance of the car a little bit there. So now Mihai can see Apache up ahead, 2.5 seconds in the distance. Mihai's going to be pushing as much as he can now, because he knows Apache's on the hard tyres, but Mihai's on fresh mediums, so he does have the tyre advantage as it stands at the minute. So he's going to be pushing as much as he can to get as close as he can to Apache, but he still doesn't want to overheat those tyres, doesn't want to start causing himself problems later in the race. But he also knows that although Apache's 2 seconds ahead of him, Mia Skinner's just less than 4 seconds behind, so if he does mess anything up, both Mia Skinner and Damo could be there to sweep it up with the heavy damage on. All it takes is one bump, and that could be all she wrote But Mihai now, as he comes through Parabolica, still has his eyes set on Apache, which is now in less than 2 seconds the gap. Jeffrey really pushing up behind Grenster. They're really putting the power down, getting a bit of wheel spin, but he still manages to stay within striking distance. I can just see in the background, Barry still just creeping around La Curva Grande, keeping himself in range. Only 2 seconds behind Barry, who's close right up Grenster now. Oh, and Grenster's picked up a half a second penalty. We've seen a lot of them coming through that chicane. A lot of drivers picking up penalties for that, but now that means Jeffrey's in with a shout now, because as soon as they come down here through Ascari, we're on the back straight, and Jeffrey should have the pace to take the position from Grenster here if he serves this penalty on this lap. Oh. And Grenster will be serving it on this lap as they go down. See Barry are just the distance there, coming through Ascari as well. So now the closing speed. Jeffrey really closed in on Grenster now because of that, the half a second penalty. And he's going to go to the inside. He's looking down the inside on Parabolica, but he thought better of it. He just slipped back in there behind Grenster. Very wise move, keeping the position, but he knows he has the full length of the straight. Oh, Grenster's gone a little bit wide. Grenster's got a little bit wide there, so now he doesn't have the best run out of that, but it means that Jeffrey's right in his slipstream, and Jeffrey is going to be licking his lips because he's going to be wanting to get into this chicane first. But it just eased up. Grenster has the position. Grenster goes through there. Jeffrey's going to live the fight another day. Barrier's gone deep. He's just went a little bit wide. He's just slowing down. He's almost put it out there. Barry's just get dirty tyres, and now as a result of that, he now has on his tail 1.5 seconds behind and closing Mihai, and 1/2 of a second behind is Apache. So now this is a fight that's really going to come down to it, because it's mediums. So Apache's on hard, sorry, actually it's going to be even more interesting, because Apache did pick up a penalty through here before. He managed to hold it together there, but you can see the difference in the grip Mihai has over them hard tyres, being able to pull out a couple of tenths just through that one corner as he's now trying to close in on Barry. And here we are down the straight, so we've got Mihai in the slipstream, 6 tenths behind Barry as they come flying down towards Ascari. It really is a chicane for the brave here, because you've got to take just as much as you can of this curve on the left without disrupting the car over the sausage curves. Same on here, but then you've got to get flat, and once the power's down, you've got to keep it down. And they've all gone through there very quickly, but Apache's gone through there even quicker, so he's going to be closing very slightly now. So Scotty with a 23-second gap up front at the minute. Tyres are starting to wear now, so that 23-second gap is coming down. Grenster is making way, he's closing in on him. So it'll be interesting to see where Scotty comes out after the pit stop and see if Grenster can actually beat him with the undercut. Same, I would say, with Apache had that little the penalty, and it shows the difference in how close the field is when you have Apache in 6th, Grenster in 2nd. They came into the pits together, came out almost together. They were split just by a couple of cars worth of traffic, and now there are 5 spaces between them. Mihai now right up behind Barry Orange to go through the chicane. 4 tenths. Oh, he's gone wide. He's kept that together very well. Held the car perfectly. And now as they come in very close, it's just a 10th in it now, the bumper to bumper as they go through the Lesmos. And the whole while they're going to be sitting, they're going to be battling this, the whole while they're going to know if they lose time. Oh, Barry's gone a little bit wide, he's held it together, very well held there from Barry. He did just go wide up out of that gravel there. which does just give Mihai the run. As they come together into Shikari, who's going to be the last on the brakes? Oh, excellent racing there. Just took the inside. And he's given him the space. He let him through. That very good racing there. Very fair, very clean. And now down the straight barrier, it took right up into the slipstream of Mihai. Mihai defended the inside line well. As they come into Parabolica, does that give Barry the opportunity to go wide and cut back? Is that what he's going to try? It looks like he's not going to quite have the pace to do it. He's going to have to slip back into the slipstream. All the while this is happening, you can see in the background there, Apache creeping ever closer, but now Barry with the slipstream just took a nudge off the bump at the back there, so just slowed him down slightly as they come towards up in the 6th gear now. Excellent navigating through the way there, but now Apache's had that opportunity. Apache's creeping up closer and closer. On board with Apache now. You can see these two in front of them. Oh, Barry's gone deep. Barry's gone deep. He's had to cut it back, and that's put Apache right on his tail. As they come into the Lesmos now, Apache looking like Apache's going to go down the inside of the Lesmos, and he is. He's made the room and he's made it stick. He's gone down, coming into the second Lesmos. Apache takes the position on the inside and now down the straight. Now he's got Mihai in his sights, but he can't forget about Barry because Barry is right behind him on the medium tyre in the slipstream and he's coming back at him already. And he's just, the slipstream pulled him through and he just hit the rev limiter there, just had to miss the gear. And Apache now holding that position as they go through the Ascari chicane. Now 2 seconds between Apache and Mihai. Half a second between Barrier and Apache. As he comes into Parabolica. Barry doing very well to stick with Apache here. He's had the medium tyres on from the start. They are starting now, especially the back left, starting away. Opposed to Apache's fresh hard, so Apache looks like he will be going to the end of the race on these tyres. I'm sure he has the ability to make them stretch. But now Mihai has to be worried because he's got to know Apache's right behind him, and Apache's, oh hang on a minute, Apache's got a bit wide then. It's give Barry the opportunity to move through. So now Apache's back in behind Barry. Barry takes the position. What an exchange that is. Once I look at one thing, I look in the background, something else is happening. But now Apache's right on the tail of Barry as they're coming into the chicane. But he's going to tuck in behind. And again, borderline drifting around the corner. Barry's lost it. Barry's spun it. Barry's just come up. And that's going to give me a Skinner the opportunity to now come through. And I knew she was closing in behind. And I was going to say it, but now she is there. And now Barry has a mountain to climb. His tyres are starting away on the mediums. And Mia Skinner now in front. Her mediums have a lot more life in them. Apache now, having picked up a half a second penalty, won't be too worried about that because he knows he's got the tyre life to last and he knows he's now got clean air in which to use them, so he's going to be happy about that. Now we see Scotty Ray coming into the pits for the first time to make a change, but Grenster is just coming down the back straight. So as Grenster starts coming now, as he comes around Parabolica, is Grenster going to take this position away from Scotty Ray in the pits? And the tyres are changed. He's refueling. It's going to be close. And he comes out just ahead. He just emerged from the pit lane there. And as you can see, Grenster less than, it's 1 second. There's 1 second in it. And now, but Grenster has the pace to catch up. So they are bumper to bumper right now. Scotty coming out on the medium tyres. He's going for the rest of the race on the mediums. Grenster on the medium tyres, so this should be a battle and a half because Scotty's not going to want to give up this lead, but Grenster needs to remind him just who he is, and this is the way to do it. As they come round now, La Curva Grande, we can see Jeffrey, Apache, and Barry in the pits. So Apache's come in to take the hards off after putting the hards on. That's an interesting decision there. I wonder if he had bumper damage Actually, I should have checked that out. Maybe that's what it is. If they had any damage coming together, that would be a good reason for the pit, but that does spice this whole thing up and turns it on its head, because now we have Scotty Ray out in the front with not having to stop again if he looks after those tyres well. Oh wait, no, I tell a lie, I'm lying to everyone, I apologise. Scotty came out on the mediums and he's changed to the mediums. So that means Scotty has one more pit stop to make, because he has to use a different compound. So he's going to be coming out the last 5 laps or so on the soft, trying to make everything count. So he's going to be trying to make as much of a gap in front as he can on these mediums now, so that his second pit stop doesn't lose him any position. Whereas Grenster, he's now going to be looking very similar game plan, I'd imagine. Oh, as I skip back, I've just wondered why nothing's moved. It's Barrier. Barrier's off again, so now he's right behind, and Eddie Catlap takes the lead from Barry. Doesn't look like Barry has any damage, though. It might have just been a spin, and off he went with his soft tyres. It would have been cold coming out of the pits, but this is exciting. So we've got Old Man Stu's got a half a second penalty, but he has Eddie Catlap right on his tail. So when he serves this penalty, Eddie's going to be trying to swoop in there and take the position. Old Man Stu on the hard tyres, as well as Eddie. And we're looking back from Old Man Stu there, we can see Eddie Catlap coming through the Ascari chicane. It's only a half a second penalty, so I don't imagine the gap closing too much, but he will have the pace going into it, which means he could have a good run coming out of Parabolica. So Grenster's still 1 second behind Scotty now. Scotty's managing to make a bit of a gap. So then we've got a back marker coming up. We're coming up behind Scooby. Oh, looks like we might have had a disconnection from Barry there. Unfortunately, that is a shame. So as Grenster comes down Parabolica, you can see just ahead of him Scotty Ray, and Scotty can see just ahead of him Scooby, so he's going to be using as much of that slipstream as he can, while he can. And then Scooby just pulling to the inside, just letting both of them pass before the chicane. Nicely done, Scooby, very well done. The last thing you want to be doing is trying to give someone a position coming through the chicane, especially when it's two people battling the way that they are. So there's a few gaps just starting to spread between people. So now Apache's come out on the mediums. So again, it'll be interesting one to look at afterwards. I'm not sure why he would pit again. I'm assuming there was some kind of damage. There was 3 of them pit together. Apache was on hard tyres, so. But that means from 6th place now, Apache does have the rest of the race, the last 12 laps, to just get his head down, focus on the task ahead. Jeffrey also on the medium tyres, so he's not going to be worried about more pit stops coming in. Mia on the mediums. Her mediums are starting to wear just a little bit, so it will be another stop required for Mia. But I would imagine, knowing Mia Skinner, she's going to come out on the last few laps on soft, and whoever's in front of her, that gap's going to get eaten up, and she's going to be on them in no time. So now looking back as well, we've got Old Man Stu, just 3 seconds ahead of Eddie Catlap on the hard tyre, so he won't be stopping again. So he's now going to be banking on the stops from the people in front of him. But we know that Damo just picked up half a second penalty there as well. But Apache, he won't be stopping again. Neither will Jeffrey. So Mia Skinner, Mihai, Mia Skinner, and Damo all will have to pit again. Old Man Stu doesn't, so that's potentially 3 positions he could claim back off the rounds of pit stops and get himself back up there into a position to spend the last few laps battling the way that he always does come the end of the race. It always seems to be Old Man Stu. It's in the final lap highlights. An absolute spark of inspiration for people watching, and a spark of inspiration for someone who can talk as much as I can, I'll tell you that much for now. And then behind, just coming down there now, heading towards the Scary, you've got Eddie Kafla. He's on the hard tyres, so he's done well keeping them as long as I do. He's still got life in them. Whether or not you'll be able to stretch them and last them to the end of the race, we are yet to find out. But he did very, very good last week on his tyres. So we'll see what he's going to do today. Tackle bender, last tackle bender, just letting Grenster through there now. Just looking at these new Venom Joker Bender FTWRC livery, looking good. I am a fan, I must say. But Scooby's only 3 seconds behind. Only 3 seconds. So the battle at the back, Scooby and Last Tackle Bender. This could be setting up because Last Tackle Bender's on hard tyres, so he should be good to the end of the race if he can hold it together. Scooby's on the mediums. He might be able to make them last, but it's very, very difficult. But that means if Scooby does make another stop, he'll be coming out on the softs, and that means he's going to have loads of clean air to try to eat up that space between him and Last Tackle Bender. At the front now, Scotty on medium tyres, 3 seconds clear in the lead. Brenster on the mediums, his are starting to wear now as well, but he is going fast, and you can see in the background there, pulling away from the lap drivers, the back markers. Mihai, 3 seconds ahead of Mia Skinner, but he's 20 seconds off Brenster. Both still need to stop again, I would imagine. And Apache sets the fastest lap there with a 1:49 there. That's an unbelievable lap time. And that's on the mediums as well. So that's a statement to those in front of him. He's not stopping again. So the drivers that are going to be stopping in front of him, they're going to be out of the way. And the ones that aren't need to be worried because Apache has his foot down right now. Mia Skinner looking like she's just starting to close the gap a little bit on Mihai there. It's 4.2, 4.3. So less than 5 second gap between herself and Mihai. Mihai's going well. The gap between him and Grenster is still 21 seconds. It's roughly the same as it was. It is closing very slightly. But very consistent driver. We know Mihai to be. We know Mihai's got consistency, and we know in these positions it takes a lot to rattle him. He can hold his nerve well. So it's going to be a very, very tough challenge for Mia Skinner to catch up with Mihai and hope that he's making any mistakes, because it's rare that he does, but there is. I say another pit stop. Mihai 10 laps to go on these tyres. It is possible it's a stretch. It is possible though, but we've seen stranger things happen. Now as Mia Skinner comes round parabolic, it's going to be interesting as well, because she's going to be trying to work out the perfect crossover point. At what point do the mediums become slow enough to warrant the softs? But how early would it be? Because the softs are not going to last 10 laps. So now she's going to be thinking, how long can I stretch these mediums without losing time, without putting the softs on too early and risk the last lap or two of the race? But having only seen one race so far, we know Mia Skinner is very tactical when it comes to things like this. Thinks ahead and plans steps ahead. So I wouldn't be surprised if Mia doesn't know exactly which lap she's changing to which tyres from the very start of the race, and she's still on that plan now because she's going well, she's going consistent. And the gap between her and Jeffrey now, 10 seconds, but Apache's 1.5 seconds behind Jeffrey now, so they're still going as well. Apache obviously does have the fastest lap of the race at the moment, a 1:49.37, and the last lap was a 1:49.635. So even then, that was fastest lap worthy, and he's gone faster again. Fastest first sector in the hands of Apache. He's coming through the chicane now, and he's still 1.5 seconds behind Jeffrey. So Jeffrey's going very well here to keep Apache away. We've got Damo in the pits now. He's coming out on the fresh medium, so he's going to be doing the last 10 laps on the medium tyres. Eddie Catflap as well. He's having a cuppa in the pit lane. He's coming out on the mediums as well. So now we've got Scooby hurtling towards Parabolica. Eddie Catflap just coming out of the pits now, 10 seconds behind Damo. And last lap, Bender coming around again on the hard tyres, not going to have to pit again. So he's doing a very good job of just keeping his nose clean and making sure he gets to the end, because that's the way points are found. You can't, to finish first, you must first finish, said someone famous one time. But so far, it has been a masterclass from Scotty. 5 seconds out in the lead still. Medium tyres, so he's still got life in them to run to the end there. He's doing a very good job. But like I said, he does have to make another change because he went from medium to medium. So he's going to have to make a change to put the softs on soon, at which point Grenster still making those mediums last. He really is stretching them mediums out. So I think it'll be a tall tale to say Grenster could stretch these all the way. I have seen stranger things happen, but now we've got Mia 1 second behind Mihai. So this is a battle that's starting to heat up. Both on medium tyres, both worn to a similar extent. So as we look back from the car of Mihai, we can see Mia Skinner following him through the Lesmos. Oh, Jeffrey has a half a second penalty, and Apache is half a second behind. As they come down the straight, they're going to be going under the bridge, up, over, through the Ascari chicane, and that will give Apache the position. And this really is starting to heat up, because the lap before Apache a 1:49.4, so his last 3 laps have all been sub 150s. That is unbelievable consistency. And there he goes through. So Jeffrey now drops down to 6th. Grenster in the pits now. So we've got Apache just covered towards Parabolica as he's easing it round. And Grenster's just coming out of the pits now, so he's going to have to do some work to catch up to Grenster. Mia in the pits as well now. So Apache's going to pass Mia in the pits. Jeffrey has as well, so this really is heating up now. So we've got Scotty at the front. He's 27 seconds clear, but still has a pit stop yet to make. We've got Grenster, 27 seconds behind, but 6 seconds in front of Mihai. He's on fresh softs. He is going to be flying for the rest of this race. Behind him, since 6 seconds, we've got Mihai. With 7 laps to go, those tyres could last. In my opinion, I don't think they will. But like I said, I've seen stranger things. Now Apache on the medium, he's got more than enough life in them to make these last, so he's going to be pushing now. So it really is going to be a battle. And these are the moments that I get excited about. The cars aren't next to each other on track. Oh, Apache's having a wobble. Apache's had a wobble. He bounced over the chicane, and that's given Jeffrey the opportunity to take that position back. But he hangs it, gives him space. He hangs it around the outside, but Jeffrey stays on the outside very, very well there. And I was just about to say the cars aren't necessarily next to each other on track, but we've got Grenster battling Apache here on completely different sections of the track without being near each other. Scotty now thinking about the timing of his pit stop, and then as I said that, Apache just slid across, and Jeffrey takes the position back from being half a second ahead. So Apache right on the tail of Jeffrey now as they come through Parabolica and enter the main straight. And what a view that is. Apache closing. As we can see, a nice side shot there, the number 29 car of Apache as they head in towards the first chicane. Apache's late on the brakes. And away he takes the position back. There's still a 5-second gap ahead of Mihai, but that seems to be coming down fairly quickly. That's because he was just navigating the back mark. I can't quite see who it was, but he's gone through. Old Man Stu's back in the pits. Doesn't have any damage, he's just putting them hard tyres in the bin, and you'll be putting some fresh softs on just to have a good go at the last 5 or 6 laps. But that's going to give Damo the opportunity now, because Old Man Stu's just coming out of the pits as Damo starts. So Damo is still going to be 10 or 12 seconds behind Old Man Stu when he comes out of the pits. 15 seconds ahead of Eddie Cathcart. But now we've got Jeffrey pushing right up against Grenster, against Apache again. Just nudging him through as they go under the bridge towards the Ascari chicane. You can see the last tackle bender just up ahead. We'll be getting the blue flags, but Apache's now going to be looking in his mirrors because he's got Jeffrey hunting to get that position back. There, last tackle bender just pulling at the side, letting them through there, not slowing them down at all because Jeffrey has a strong slipstream behind Apache as they come into Parabolica now. 160 miles an hour down to 100 in just 100 yards. The machines are unbelievable. So Mihai, and we've got Mihai in the pits now, so that's Apache up to 3rd place. Jeffrey up to 4th. Grenster on the soft tyres, hunting down Scotty. Scotty's come out of his final pit stop on the soft tyres. He has a 7-second advantage over Grenster. So there's 5 laps left. Grenster is now pushing as hard as he can. He's on the soft. He's just set the fastest first sector time. So Scotty Ray's going to have eyes in the back of his head right now because this is coming down to the wire. But having seen what Scotty can do so far, we know that if he just keeps doing what he's doing, it's going to be very difficult to catch because he's now on the fresh soft. And so far, over the course of this race, he has shown to be the man to beat, the man with the pace. Jeffrey not letting Apache out of his sight. And now it looks like we'll have a bit of a battle forming. We've got Last Tackle Bender and Scooby only 2 seconds apart. Last Tackle Bender is on the worn hard tyres, so you may be trying to see them through to the end. You probably will make it. Scooby is on the soft tyres though, so the chances are, when it comes down to it, Scooby's going to be the one who has the grip ahead of him. Eddie Cathcart in his favourite position of being miles away from the person behind him, miles away from the person in front. That's how he likes it. Cup are on the straight, lovely. But then when you look backwards, hasn't got that much time to rest because you can see Scotty Ray thundering up behind down the straight in 1st place, who will be closely followed by Grenster. Boy, as Mihai just catches up to Mia Skinner, he has to serve that penalty. But he's still very close, and this is another battle. Both on very fresh soft tyres. So this is going to be a battle at the end as well. So this is really working out. It looks like we've got 3 or 4 battles for 3 or 4 different positions going on right now. Mia Skinner setting that fastest lap time of the race so far. Mihai squeezing right up the concertina effect, squeezing right in. He's going to be wanting to get the power down really early here to stay with, stay on the bumper. And he does quite well there, so he has gained a 10th throughout the chicane there. Apache's got a 1-second penalty, and Jeffrey can see that ahead. So Jeffrey just had a little wobble through there, can see that 1-second penalty from Apache now. Those mediums, he's really pushing them. That's how he drives. He never sits back. He never takes it easy. If he isn't pushing, he isn't driving, and that's why we love Apache. But that's also why now and again things like this can happen when you just lose the back end a little bit of it. Spins out, a 1-second penalty, and that means it's going to, the gap of 1.5 seconds between the two is going to close to just about nothing once they get into Parabolica, which sets up for a wonderful final 4 laps. So Jeffrey just needs to hold it together here as he clips there, and now he's got his foot flat. Apache going on the grass there. But Jeffrey gets into Parabolica first, stays wide, We've got Apache staying on the inside. Jeffrey staying ahead, keeps the position. And into the pits he goes, and Apache now in third place. And it's going to be very, very difficult for anyone to catch him from here. But now Mihai, as we skip back, on board with Mia Skinner, looking backwards over the bumper, we've got Mihai 2/10 behind Mia Skinner on the start of the 27th lap, coming down, just going past Jeffrey as he comes out of the pits there, so he's going to be looking to get in on the action very soon as well. Mihai's going down the inside, and what a move that is, and Mia Skinner's just had to let him go through, and that's excellent driving from both of them there, but what a move that is from Mihai. We've seen him come from the back to the front before, we know he can overtake people at will, and he's done just that exactly. What a fantastic move from Mihai now, but he's going to have eyes in the back of his head, because Mia Skinner's not going to just let that slide. Mia's going to be wanting that position back, and she's got 3 laps in which to get it. Take the defensive line there. Mihai making sure that there's nothing coming past him there. He's got a little bit wide, but he's held it together. But now looking off the back of Mia Skinner's car, we've got Jeffrey. Jeffrey's 2/10 behind. So now we've got a 3-way battle here. We've got Mia just keeping it on the track. They say with Mihai, all of them pushing as hard as they can. All of them on the soft tyre. This is an unbelievable end to the race because we've got Mihai now. He's now managed to get just about a second ahead of Mia, but Mia is less than 2/10 ahead of Jeffrey now, and he is in the slipstream as they come flying down the straight. They're going to go under the bridge up to the Ascari chicane. Mia Skinner just defending the inside just enough, coming across, dropping the gear, and that means now Jeffrey's going to want to take a really tight line. He's followed her through. They've gone a little bit wide, but that's a good run out now. So Mihai's going to be looking at this in his mirrors and thinking that he hopes the battle continues, because it's just giving him a chance to move that a little bit further away from the two of them. And Mia defending the inside. Jeffrey going very deep, very late on the outside, and he's managing to make it stick. And he could do this round the outside of Parabolica, and he has. What a move that is! Jeffrey takes it round the outside of Parabolica, even when it looked like he's gone too deep and under the marbles, and now finds himself 3/10 ahead of Mia Skinner. Unbelievable. And as that happens, I look down and realise the fastest lap of the race has changed hands, and Grenster has the fastest lap of a 1:48.666. This is unbelievable. What a race this is. It's full of twists and turns. But there is still a few twists and turns yet, as there is still 2 laps after this one. Mihai managing to get a second ahead away from Jeffrey. Mia Skinner still within 7/10 of Jeffrey. So this one is all to play for as we go forward. Eddie Carflap just going wide there, letting Grenster through, so not slowing down there. Grenster 9 seconds adrift with Scotty, so Scotty has pulled just away a little bit. Apache 26, be 16 seconds ahead of Mihai. So again, as long as Apache doesn't make any silly mistakes, this should be a podium finish for him. But the battle to watch. Oh, Mia Skinner's picked up a half a second penalty. That might just pull her out of contention of this battle here. But we do have Jeffrey in the slipstream of Mihai now, coming down the straight. It's about to go under the bridge, over the Ascari chicane. And Grenster's, oh no, Grenster's had to come into the pits. Oh! So as Apache now, so Grenster's car's dropped, he's coming out. Apache's coming out in the straight. Grenster's just exiting the pit lane now. So that'll still give Grenster a good 10 to 12 seconds ahead, I would imagine. 16, 15, so Grenster with 15 seconds ahead as he pulls out onto the straight. But that is closing rapidly because of the end of the straight, so it's going to be very difficult to imagine Apache being able to close that gap into when Grenster's on the soft tyre. And Scotty takes the fastest lap back. Scotty takes the fastest lap of a 1:48.6, so we know why Grenster's coming out on the soft tyres for the last lap. But now Jeffrey going on the outside, coming into the first chicane. And now we've got Jeffrey just tucking in. Mihai taking very defensive, but he's gone deep. He's gone deep, and they've gone round together. And Jeffrey takes the position. Jeffrey's up in 4th place. Mihai's just had to back out of it. And that's going to give Mia Skinner the opportunity to close that gap up again. Oh my word, there's more twists in this than an M. Night Shyamalan novel. Jesus. But now that gives Jeffrey the space. 2.5 seconds more now in the gap. So Jeffrey can afford to ease off just a little bit, but not too much, as he just borderline drifts around the chicane there. Apache's got his foot to the ground, put those tyres are more than enough to get him there, but nowhere near enough to catch Grenster. But if Apache finishes the way it is, it's going to be easy for him to get on the podium as long as he makes no mistakes. It's been another wonderful performance. It's going to be an interesting one to watch the replay back of, because there was a few incidents, a few pit stops, or a few bits of damage picked up that might be worth having a look at again. But definitely so far, star of the show, as he starts his final lap at Monza for round 2 of the FTWRC. Scotty Ray is in the lead by 26 seconds, and as long as he doesn't make a mistake, this is a parade lap for him. He's got the fastest lap of a 1 minute 48.6. Grenster is on fresh softs now. His tank's nearly empty, so this is going to be a lap and a half from Grenster, because he's going to be wanting to take that. If he's not taking the maximum points for winning the race, he wants to at least take the point for being the fastest. So now coming down the back straight, hammering it towards Parabolica, braking for the last time into the final corner, sweeping round. We have a new winner, and the winner of Monza in the FTWRC round 2, it's Scotty Ray. Grenster picking up half a second penalty. That's not going to be too much of a bother. He's still 11 seconds ahead. So that's the FTWRC's first Aussie winner of a race crowned at Monza, as Grenster comes around Parabolica himself. He's going to be really pushing here. And what can this lap time be? What can he get? There must have been something on the lap not quite right, because he's got second place. Scotty Ray with the fastest lap. Grenster in second. Apache takes the final podium position. What a race it is from these guys. As Jeffrey comes through, Parabolica again, he's getting himself 4th position for him. 4 seconds behind that, we've got Mihai. Only 3 seconds behind him, we've got Mia Skinner, so very close up at the front there. As Mia comes over, 6th place for her, that's more points in the bag. Old Man Stu, again we'll have to look, maybe had a couple of problems here. But as he comes down in 7th place, just having a dance down the straight with last tackle bender there. As he comes round to be the final man to cross the line, Old Man Stu in P7. What a race we've just seen there, but what a debut we have from Scotty. What a way to announce your arrival. Well done, Scotty Ray. Not only the winner, but the fastest lap of the race as well. Unbelievable. So another fantastic night of racing yet again in the FTWRC. A few more talking points this week than last week. A few more things to be looked at. However, what a story that's been told, and how much does this set up the rest of the league? Absolutely unbelievable. So if anyone's watching who hasn't already, and you do feel like it, have a look in the description. There's a link there to just give them. That is raising money. We're trying to get £500 for charity. Half of it going to Mind, charity for mental health. Half of it to go to Macmillan cancer support. Any help at all would be greatly appreciated. So hopefully you've enjoyed those races as much as we have, as much as I have. Stay tuned and see you next week for another round of the FTWRC.